So your Pi is attached to your board with lots of lovely solder. So now we need to put something on the front to make it work. And I like to start off with the joystick. So we simply peel the plastic off the front with this to release the joystick. Now if you take a look at the bottom, not sure if the camera will be able to pick this up, but basically there are two little pegs on the bottom of that. One slightly bigger than the other, and you'll notice there's two little holes for where it goes. So all you need to do, get them the right way around and drop it in. It won't fit the wrong way around, so you shouldn't have too much difficulty. So once that's neatly seated in its hole, we can start with the soldering. Now there's 3 pads this side, 3 pads this side, and then 2 anchor points from top and bottom. I like to start with the anchor points, but whichever way you go, it's up to you. And then put spot solder on that first point, and then just make sure it's definitely seated while I melt that solder, just in case it's moved. You could clamp it into place, but I've not got anything to clamp it with, so so the 2 anchor points are now soldered. So you're going to go on and do these little pads here. Now they are pretty small. Best thing to try and do is get the point of your tip of your iron to touch both the pad and the component leg at the same time, whilst you put a spot solder on it. So I'm going to do that one there, and then that one there, and then that one there. It normally starts off looking a bit messy, but if you clean your iron, you can normally just gently take all those, get rid of any shorts, and get them nice and neatly soldered. A little bit of flux always helps. I've got a tin of flux just off camera, just to clean the iron and help with the soldering. So that side's done, all nice and shiny, no shorts. To the next side. Seem to have shorted some there, so a bit of flux, clean my dip, and I should just pull that excess solder off, put it somewhere else. Just take your time with these things, because they are rather fiddly. Not actually designed to be soldered by hand, they're designed to be placed on some solder paste and baked in an oven. But there's no fun in doing that. There we go, so that's all nice and neat. There's no shorts on there. So we can move on to the next part. So I tend to do the power switch next. So again, we just peel off the plastic to release the switch. This part also has 2 little pegs on the bottom, which sit in 2 little holes on the board. Tweezers may help here. Place it in the right place, and again that should sit nicely in those holes. We've got 2 anchor points each side, and then 3 legs for the switch. So again, start with the anchors. Add some solder on one, and then make sure it's in the right place before you go on to the rest. And then then once it's firmly anchored in place, you can do these legs. Oh yeah, you just want to check, make sure there's no shorts, no straight solder anywhere. Right, so far so good. Now I generally tend to go for the action button next. These are a little bit more fiddly because they don't have any pegs to locate them, and also they don't want to come out of the packet. So what I generally tend to do is place a tiny spot of solder on one of these pads for each of the switches, and then with some tweezers gently place the switch, or throw it, gently place the switch in the right place, and then you can touch that blob of solder and firmly anchor the switch down. You may need a tiny bit of adjustment. You can always just retouch that solder, move the switch until it fits nicely on those pads, and do the same for the next one. And that's also nicely in place. So we just need to go around and solder all those pads. Again, if you touch the lead, touch the pad, drop some solder in, it all works nicely. And you can always just put a spot more on that first one you did, just to make sure it's all secure. So that's those soldered on. Again, just check, make sure there's no shorts. Not much on that one. Let's do the spot more. So yeah, nice and shiny, no shorts, and reasonably straight. Just how we like it. Okay, so on to the next part. Now, you've got your piezo's and your joystick. It's best to do the joystick next because of getting to those pins. So I've got the plastic, and out comes the joystick. There are two different versions of this. Some have extra legs around the side to make it a more curved appearance, like that, and these ones don't. Now actually these ones are easier because there's two anchor points just here and here, which you can't actually get to with the other one, not really easily anyway. So you'll notice this one's got holes in the board, so it's got pegs on the bottom, so you can locate that in there, nice and snug in those holes. Now on this one I tend to go for the pads on the back first because they're easier to get to. So let's do the middle one, spot solder, and again just make sure it's nicely located. Then we can do these anchor points to the side here. So a bit of solder, a bit of flow. Clean the tip. There's one done. Okay, so I can see it. nice and neatly here. And then we can finish off the other two pads here. And as always, just check, make sure you've got no shorts. Everything's nice and shiny. We got some good solder. Right, that's that attached. Now let's fill these squares here with some piezos. Now these have a little hole on the side for letting the noise out. Now they don't make much noise, so make sure that's pointing outwards. Give it as much chance as we can to make some noise. So that goes in there with the holes facing outwards. And it's probably easier to put a spot of solder on these pads first. These are nice big components, easy to handle. But some of them have got very thick leads, so a bit of solder on first makes it a bit easier to get the solder on there. So hold it in place and then melt that solder. You should see it start to flow around the pad. Onto the other side, press it down a little bit, melt the solder, and you can see it just pop up through that hole there. Same with the next one. Again, make sure you watch out for that hole. Place it facing out. And melt that solder. And onto the top. Press it down a little bit. Melt the solder. And we're there. So, pretty much almost there. There's one last component for this video, and that's the resistor for the screen. Now, save the best till last, because these things are tiny. Literally tiny, tiny. So, if we just peel back the plastic, there's 3 resistors in the pack, so you've got scope for losing some. Nope. That didn't come apart very well. But yeah. Probably can't even see that on the camera. It's a very, very, very tiny, tiny resistor. So, again with this one, it's easier if we put a spot of solder on one of the pads. And then we can take our tweezers, place our resistor in the right place, and then melt that solder. Yeah, take your time with this. Just to get it all nicely in the right place. And then you want to put a spot of solder on the other side. Then go back to that first side and just make sure it's definitely soldered. Now try not to leave your iron on it for too long, because the heat does transfer and it's quite easy to get both sides melting and for the resistor to pop off. So just be gentle with it. Doesn't matter if it's not quite straight, they're quite forgiving. So all that's left now is the screen, but I think that deserves its own video. So on to the next one.